If you use Webflow, you know the traditional routine, adding divs, finding classes, styling classes, and constantly checking for different breakpoints to make sure everything looks good, right? But what if Webflow could feel more like a lightning-fast drag and drop page builder? Today, we are going to take a look at why you should switch to a component-based workflow in Webflow. By building with components, you can drag incomplete structures, customize them in seconds using the props panel, and build pretty complex layouts in a fraction of the time. Plus, you don't have to think about breakpoints. The components just adapt naturally across all screen sizes. We're going to look at exactly how components work under the hood, look at different groups and applications of components, and why a hybrid approach might be the smartest way for you to build your next project. So, how does components actually work? In Webflow, components give you the power to create reusable blocks of elements to maintain a pretty scalable design. You start with the main component, which sets the structure and design. When you change this main component, every single instant of it updates automatically across your entire site. So components can just be reusable blocks that syncs across your site. It's very handy. But a website with identical blocks everywhere would not be so useful in a component-based framework. So this is where props and slots come in. Think of props or properties as your visual content control panel. You can use props to change text, HTML tags, you can swap images, toggle elements on and off. You can switch an entire layout to a different variant. You can even add classes and styles. You can turn on and off animations and so much more. Slots, as the name indicates, are basically empty placeholders inside a component. They allow you to drop in other components inside an existing component structure. Together, props and slots allow you to build complete unique layouts visually, entirely through simple settings and toggles and a good old drag and drop. You can build components however you like, but to make this fast and scalable, we use an atomic design approach. In the Atom framework, we divide components into 3 groups. Let's look how you can use them. Group 1. These are the smallest possible components in our system. Think button, heading, paragraph, rich text, link, breadcrumb, tagline. You get it. They are simple components with simple props. You rarely use them entirely on their own. They're most often used as pieces of a larger layout, like a section title, for example. Group 2 is building blocks. This is the structure of your layout. Here we have different section components, grids, flex boxes, button group, and some common slots like a block slot, link slot, and even card slot. They are simply holders for other components. You can use them to create a layout, which you then fill with atoms most often, like a heading, a paragraph, a button, and so forth. Let's build a layout real quick. I'll drop in a section base inside my main wrapper. Inside it, I place an auto grid. Here I can quickly set up this auto grid exactly the way I want it. Then inside the grid, I drop a card slot. The card slot kind of organizes the layout. So here I drop in an image, a spacer, a heading, paragraph, a button group, a button, maybe even a second button. You can add anything here. The variations you can build in seconds are almost endless. Group 3 is complete or pre-built components. This is where we really maximize speed and simplicity. Instead of building a card from scratch inside our slot, I'll just drag in a pre-built card component, or it could be a nav bar, a footer, a tab, a title component. We have pre-built the most common structures in web design. For example, let's look at the title component. It is probably the most common layout structure on a website. Watch how fast this is. I add a title component, Command-Control-E, search, title, there it is. And I go straight to the component props. I want buttons, so I add a button group. A button. I duplicate to a second button. Now I can easily change the layout variant from a classic left design, in this case, to a column layout, or I want a center layout. I can change the heading style, and yeah, I also want the tagline, so let's add that. Done. The tooltip can be really useful if you're not ever sure what a prop means, so check that out. Building with components has huge benefits, but sometimes you need even more freedom. Here is a very important point. Atom is a hybrid framework. I love that word. This means you are never locked into a component straitjacket. Depending on your project, you can mix components with the normal way of building. You can use standard utility classes for unique tweaks. You can combine them with Atom's grid classes and build custom layouts entirely from scratch. You can reuse components where it saves time, or you can use classes when you need absolute creative freedom. And also adding layouts from Reloom or FinSuite, because these classes will sync. However, there is a scenario where you would want to go 100% components. If your goal is to hand the project over to a marketer or a client, business owner, who needs to build their own landing pages, then building everything with components and slots is the way to give, you give them the safe drag and drop interface, and they can build freely with the marketer role without ever breaking your beautiful design. So, to summarize, stop building every single section with raw divs and classes. Start using atoms, building blocks, and complete component structures to speed up your workflow and really scale your projects when you need to. If you want to try this out yourself, you can clone the Atom Builder framework for free. Yes, of course, for free, using the link in the description. And stay tuned, because in our upcoming videos, we are going to dive even deeper into these specific components. We're going to look at some props and slots in more detail and show you exactly how you can build pretty advanced layouts. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. And for this time, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.